I'm amused that the gentlelady is concerned about raising the age, the regulation that limits the age for pilots when there's a shortage of pilots, but they're okay with a president of the United States who's more than 20 years older than the minimum age.
Mr. Chairman, since you're referring to me, it's not age, it's training hour time.
So that's James Comer, who, like most Republicans, would love to make AOC look like a fool, but unfortunately, he was much more effective at ruining his own reputation, because this happened during this House regulation hearing. It's death by 1,000 regulations, the Biden administration's campaign to bury America in red tape. Okay, so the general idea is government regulation under Joe Biden is wrecking your life. It's ruining America. What they're talking about there is Republican attempts to roll back the number of cockpit training hours required for commercial pilots to be licensed. And AOC thinks, hey, maybe let's not do that. Maybe let's not make it way easier to become a pilot, like reasonably easy, but not way easier. And I think that that's probably a good idea, because we've had a lot of transportation related crises in America under Joe Biden. The fatality rate from automobiles is way up over a few years ago. Trains are crashing left and right. Pretty much the only thing we have right now is that planes are not routinely dropping out of the sky. And Republicans seem to be like trying to complete like transportation catastrophe tic-tac-toe. And like they just need some planes to ram into some things or something. But anyway, Comer didn't even seem to understand not just the general topic, but what she was talking about. So let's jump to this next video.
What we are seeing right now is Republicans trying to roll back a rule on the number of hours that pilots must require in order to train, in order to be licensed.
I'm amused that the gentlelady is concerned about raising the age, the regulation that limits the age for pilots when there's a shortage of pilots, but they're okay with a president of the United States who's more than 20 years older than the minimum age.
Mr. Chairman, since you're referring to me, it's not age, it's training hour time. The number of hours that an individual is training, not the age.
Well, part of the regulation is the age as well. Chair recognizes Mr. Armstrong from North Dakota.
Yeah, there are regulations having to do with age. That's just not what she's talking about. Obviously, she was very clear. We thought we should play the context, you understand. He just was so like giddy, like I want to joke about Biden's age. I don't care what's happening here if it makes sense. Anyway, what do you guys think about this goober?
Listen, fair. That's right. We want people to be older than 62.5 days. 1,500 hours is what you need. You need to be older than 1,500 hours to fly a plane. So AOC needs to get her stuff together. So this guy tell me you didn't read your homework without telling me you didn't read your homework? What was it? He's not listening to her. Like the idea that when women say men don't hear them when they're speaking, this was a video. We saw it in real time on the congressional floor. This is ridiculous, guys. Like, how could you? And then in order saying, "Oh, I misunderstood," the arrogance was, well, it also addresses age somewhere in there. But yeah, but we're not talking about that. I literally just read something about training hours. But who cares anything about safety? We need less people checking on trains. We need less people checking on the depths and the security of our bridges. And we damn sure need less people with less training in the cockpit of planes behind steel doors that we already can't see what's going on. Let's give them a drink too, why not?
It's really funny too, because even if Comer was correct, and that is what AOC was saying, she would still be right. Like, we don't want to say, like we're doing in all the other industries, like, sure, let's put the 14-year-olds back in the mines. Let's put them in the slaughterhouses. Hell, let's put them in the cockpits. Those dang kids need to be flying the planes after school. Why are they not up in the sky? This is so idiotic. Like, we're not talking about, some weird regulation that says if you're walking along a road on the left side, you have to have a partial hat, some weird things out there. This is literally tons and tons of steel and glass and metal carrying hundreds of human beings on it, flying at 400 miles an hour, 30,000 feet in the sky, missiles filled with people. We probably need to be as strict as we can with that so that hundreds of people aren't dying every day because Republicans didn't understand what AOC was trying to say.
Yeah, it's a great point. By the way, like, look at how convenient this is for the Republicans. Let's say that they got what they wanted and they drastically cut the amount of training you need, and then a plane crashed. What would happen right now if a plane crashed in America under Joe Biden, under Pete Buttigieg? You think they'd be understanding? They'd be like, well, you know, this is gonna happen because we just gotta make sure that the planes go and stay in the air so we don't have to. No, they would be attacking all out. They would be making the biggest crisis possible. Like, they are creating conditions of utter chaos, knowing that they will benefit from the chaos. It's weird incentives that not a lot of people comment on.
The talking point would be, nobody's talking about all the planes that land safely every day. You want to focus on the one crash we had. That's how stupid they are. That's what it would be.
And they would also say, because of our new law, we have more pilots. So it's just one dead pilot, but look at all the new pilots.
Yeah, 100%. We're replacing them faster than we can bury them. By the way, I also just want to point out that the whole point of that from James Comer was to be like, haha, you like an old president. Your president's old. Biden's 80 years old. He's not a spring chicken like the president that James Comer supports, who's 77 years old. Look, maybe when I turn 80, I'll wish that I was 77 again, but it feels like roughly ballpark a similar-ish age. And he's acting like it's the difference between like Kennedy and Nixon or something.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.